Nobody wants to save the American penis.
I'm white, and I've got everything I need. No one clutches their purses when they're in a room alone with me. And I can drive for any neighborhood I please at any hour, and the police don't do a thing. So if I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I've got everything I need. I'm a guy getting paid more than a girl with a degree. And I can walk down the streets after dark, no one wants to rape me. And I can get a girl pregnant and just as easily flee. Just like my straight white male dad did to me. So if I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need. I've got a pile of broken mirrors and I'm walking under ladders and I'm spilling tons of salt, but to me that doesn't matter, cause my skin and my gender and my orientation are the best things to have if you live in this nation. I recommend it highly. If I see a penny on the ground, I leave it alone and fucking flip it. I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need. Shit's gonna work out for me, cause I'm a straight white male in America. I've got all the luck I need.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Intellectual Dollar Tree. We do this show live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific right here on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. If you're listening to the podcast, please follow that channel. We want 10,000 followers now. Also, we're on YouTube, live on YouTube. Nobody's going to watch us there. And we're also live on Facebook, and they will eventually mute us for playing our friends' music. You can support this project. Go to echoplexmedia.com, click the support tab, pick your favorite way. I prefer the merch, but you can make your own decisions. I am producer Dave, and you can find me on Grindr.
Hey, there's a woman on the show, and the woman is the media wench, which you will rarely ever find me on here. But you can also find me here on Echoplex, streaming on Monday and Tuesday mornings for Shasta County bonus content, and it's usually where Soups lives, but this week, we couldn't do that.
And since we fired HK...
That's just the rumor we're going to start. We fired HK. From the job that he works at for free. That
he actually pays to work at.
That he actually pays to work at, like the rest of us.
So anybody listening on the pod, this is the media one. She's one of the longtime co-hosts around here. If you listen to the Plex or are just a fan of the network, you've heard her before. The show's going to be a little bit different. We are not covering intellectual dark web content. We're going to be watching the Shasta County Board of Supervisors meeting, and we'll cut it off sometime around hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, like we always do for the Intellectual Dollar Tree. We'll watch the rest of the meeting, and we'll go ahead and give this show in its entirety out as a Patreon freebie, and maybe we'll put the whole thing up on the Odyssey website. Who knows? We'll put it in places. People will see it. And that's
what she said.
it's a bit of a treat because you've been good. You get to listen to, I suppose, the Shasta County Board of Supervisors meeting. I went ahead and downloaded the meeting and hacked off the invocation as well as the pledge, because we don't pray and we don't salute the flag around here. So,
and what's better than two galaxy brains arguing with each other? 100 galaxy brains in the same room arguing with each other.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. It might not make as much sense on the audio, but you'll be able to catch the video for this. So, without any further ado, here is yesterday's Shasta Board of Supervisors meeting. It's from the Odyssey website, so we'll start playing when it feels like it. Oh,
all right.
Update and consider action on specific legislation related to Shasta County's legislative platform and receive supervisors' reports on countywide issues. CEO Rickert.
This is where we can listen to
Morning, Chairman
Mary
Cry and
talking
members
about how
of the
she
Board of
actually does her
Supervisors,
job, and then the
David
rest of them
Ritchie,
how they went and
reporting.
did a bunch of bullshit.
I would first like to highlight an update on state issues. The bill I'd like to highlight today is AB 2561. This will require all agencies with bargaining units that have a vacancy of more than 10% over a 180-day period to develop and administer a plan to reduce vacancy rates over the subsequent 180 days. The problem with this is it actually adds no added value to employees. It creates an administrative burden, and it creates additional cost to the county. So I'll come back later with a request to have one of the supervisors sponsor opposition to that bill. I want to give you an update on some county issues coming up. We are going to have, and I apologize, but we are going to have the code of conduct, not this meeting, but it'll be the March 26th meeting for review and
Keep pushing it off. We don't need a code of conduct.
We will
It's funny too. It's just a code of conduct for the supervisors themselves, right?
No, it's supposed to be like all encompassing. It's supposed to be for the audience and for the supervisors. It's never going to happen. It's like, quit trying to make it a thing. It's never going to be a thing.
2 versions of the Board of Supervisors Code of Conduct and a subsequent also employee code of conduct for consideration by the board. And finally, we are going to have, in preparation for the California Workplace Violence Prevention Plan law, which takes effect in July, we are going to have an open session training on that bill for the Board of Supervisors in an open board meeting, and the public will be welcome to be there also.
Open training of how to use firearms now that Patrick has allowed everybody to bring guns into the fucking government building.
Yeah, they'll be like, we will help you figure out how to enact workplace violence.
We'll show you where the middle of the target is.
Moving on, I do want to give you an update. We are moving forward with our SB2 requirements. There are a number of initiatives taken by our task force to analyze that. One of the directives we're looking for, we'll come back at a later date, is we're going to request and bring forth a budgetary item to bring a consultant in to make sure we address all the specific training issues related to the SB2 initiative, and to ensure that all our policies and procedures are compliant in order to minimize any potential risk on behalf of the county. Moving on to the jail update, I did meet with Pat Minturn. I am planning to meet with Matt Pontus, I believe, this Friday, and we are moving forward with that issue. The board also should note that we do not have our occupancy permit yet, and we cannot act on the old courthouse until 120 days thereafter. So we are looking into that to see if we can't somehow expedite that process. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO Rickert. Supervisor Rickert, let's go ahead and start with you.
Certainly. I attended the SHARC meeting, the Shasta Health Assessment Redesign Collaborative. Todd Smith from Mercy Medical reported that there was an assessment done, and it looks as though, and I talked about it before, as far as Shasta County, we are short, and this is primary care physicians only, that we're short about 60, which is kind of a crisis for our county. So that's something that we need to really focus on and to try and attract qualified physicians to our
Good luck.
county.
Yeah, good luck.
Attended the Mental Health Alcohol Drug Advisory Board meeting. We had a presentation on Care Court, and since that's going to be coming to Shasta County, it was really informative, and I think that as a board we need to have more information on that. So I think I've asked that we follow up with a presentation here at the board level. We also had a presentation by the Rough Out Ranch and how it can be used for therapy for kids. And so I'm a firm believer in getting kids outdoors, and especially around animals, livestock. So I really enjoyed that particular presentation. I attended Restart Reading, Addressing Drug Addiction at Simpson College, and that was eye-opening. I think that we need to spend more time on this particular subject. As of right now, we have an average of 48 deaths per 100,000 of our population in Shasta County to drug overdose. That's 48, and then you add another, we're 180,000, we're talking 70 deaths a year. And we are not hearing enough about that. This county
Was that a duck?
is in crisis.
Trying to turn it all off.
I did run into former county council Jim Ross the other day, and I just wanted to make a public announcement in terms of how much I appreciate all the efforts he made when we worked on the opioid settlement. And he had another attorney with him from originally from Mendocino County, and he reiterated that Jim Ross was the leader in the state in terms of getting that settlement, the counties organized and that settlement taken care of for us. And so as a result, we received millions of dollars that comes into this county. So I just want to give credit where credit is due. And I'm sure, Alan, you can agree with that.
Yet another highly effective person left the county's employ.
Yeah.
Ross did actually lead out in that
He did.
statewide effort. It's not uncommon for the county councils to work together on things, but Jim actually took a heavy lift on that.
He did the heavy lifting, and I remember working with him on it, and it was a heroic effort on his part. And like I say, he has a lot of capital out there with a lot of the county councils throughout the state, so they really appreciated what he did. I attended in MacArthur the Firemen's Carnival. It was a really great turnout. Been talking to members of the various groups up there in terms of the volunteer fire department. It looks like they're working some things out, and so I'm very optimistic.
Every time they read what they've done, she's done more than the other four combined.
Dude, and the other guys are like, I went to a breakfast. I went to the people fluff my ass dinner. I went to some gun range shit.
Problem solved.
She's like going to like drug and alcohol
PSAs,
fucking programs, fucking presentations and homeless
Area
presentations, all
Agency
kinds of
Aging
shit for like
Associ-
the community.
Association, yesterday, the funding is going down for seniors, for senior food, and the number of seniors is increasing. So there's a disproportionate issue that we will see probably develop into a serious problem. The COVID funding that had been helpful will cease into September, so I'm concerned about that. Yesterday, I spoke with Resource Management Director Paul Hellman about the application process for the Palisadro committee that's going
Also, she doesn't use this time to fucking grandstand and pontificate on a bunch of stupid shit either.
Stephanie Blankenship and trying to figure out which
Spends most of her time like
needs to be used.
giving
So
it
I'm
up to other
excited
people who are doing
progress
work.
with that. And also, I just want to thank Stuart from staff and their basically research on Senate Bill 1249. It's about the state maybe changing how that is organized and how it works with shifting more power control over taking care of our elderly at a local level. And so we're concerned about losing funding on that particular issue too. So we're keeping an eye on that. So that concludes my report.
What all didn't you guys do?
Supervisor Kelsner.
All right. So on Wednesday the 13th, I had lunch with a constituent and a couple businessmen that are planning a huge project in the Cottonwood Anderson area.
I took some people out to lunch.
They bribed me.
I'm going to let them go ahead and make it public. I won't make it public for them, but it's a multi-$100 million project that'll be happening here very
Oh,
shortly.
you know he getting a taste.
And then I'm
Oh,
having another
aren't you glad you got rid of impact
Friday on
fees?
another project that's going on in my district, and we're at Resource Management, so special thanks to Paul, Leo, Adam, and Sean. And then I had an impromptu meeting with CEO Rickert, and Council Cox was in there, so thank you, gentlemen, for some good advice. And the 16th, I had a Reading School of Arts fundraising auction, so I was the auctioneer, and it was a great event. They did a phenomenal job putting on a fundraiser. As a guy that does a lot of fundraisers, let me tell you, they did a phenomenal job on this one. And then, speaking of phenomenal, on the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, I went to Pioneer Pizza in Shingletown. I went there last year, and as a guy that cooks a lot of corned beef, and I'm a pretty darn good cook, let me tell you, Robert Sims knocks it out of the park.
I had food again.
The corned beef, it is amazing.
Nothing with
You
business.
guys need to mark your calendars next year because let me tell you, I've had good corned beef. It's the best ever. And that concludes my report.
So I had food and I had to meet with the attorney and the county CEO.
Aren't you glad you pay me?
Unfortunately, no one bribed me at the neither the CEO nor the county council bribed me, nor did the pizzeria owner.
Mm-mm.
Thank you, Chair Cry. As well, I had a impromptu meeting with CEO Rickert, so I appreciate him being available.
I lost an election.
Had a meeting, Airport Land Use Commission, and Chair Cry was there as well. And I'm going to allow Chair Cry to kind of elaborate on that because he had a little more input on some of the issues with our airports. Attended an election integrity meeting, which I do almost every week, and those available here in the county. They're going on throughout California. Also had a meeting, a Reading Area Bus Authority meeting. We had an oral report from our transit manager on updates regarding the Reading Area Bus Authority activities, and also we had a public hearing to consider the fee schedule. So you might see some fee changes and some. There will be no route changes, but there may be fee changes coming in the future. And then lastly, yesterday I was able to go down to the ROV's office and watch the 1% hand tally, and so I wanted to kind of describe a little bit about what I saw there. And so while this election is still going on, the ROV has taken upon themselves to do a 1% hand tally before the contest is over with regard to...
They did it last year. They did last election. They do it every one.
There were 2 tables set up, and the public could view these 2 tables, be it about 20 feet away. There was table 1 and table 2. Election officials would come out with
what else would
100 ballots, and they would place the 100 ballots on
table 1 and table 84, obviously.
2 individuals on each table would then separate those ballots, and then individually they would count the yes and the no on the recall of Kevin Cry. On table 1, I could not see the boxes. They were not labeled in a manner that the public could witness what ballots were going in what boxes. So whether it was a yes or a no, an undercounted or overcounted ballot, I couldn't tell. On table 2, and again, 2 groups per table, one half of the table was blocked from view. The other I could see where the box was clearly labeled yes for Cry recall, no for Cry undercounted, overcounted. And so as those batches came in, the first batch came in, they were counted. I couldn't hear the batch number was inaudible, so I couldn't tell on the first batch what batch it was. The second batch came in, we did hear a batch number, and we did write that batch number down. On table 2, visible to me, I could see that...
I really don't understand why he's wasting all of his time doing this shit.
Yeah, this is weird. It's almost like he's getting ready to just be a speaker during public comment.
Each person had counted the yes and the no's individually, then...
No, he's just going to meddle in the background.
No ballot and each yes ballot. In the no ballot, in approximately a 3-minute span, 5 ballots were taken out of the no and put into the yes on an individual person. I witnessed that myself. I was there for approximately 38 minutes, and that is the only...
That's a weird approximate number.
Correctly, because I couldn't see the information from my viewpoint. So within 5 minutes, I could see within a few minutes, and within 38 minutes, on batch number 2, on table 2, I saw 5 deliberate errors.
Deliberate? Well, no, an error, sir. Error and deliberate are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
A deliberate error would be a voter fraud or an election fraud. An error, I mean, it's implied that it's a mistake.
In the past, when I took part of the recount for Gary Catt in 2012, we had 3 sets of eyes on every ballot every time to eliminate these types of errors. But here, when you have individuals counting ballots and putting them in a particular box, you're going to have a high error ratio. This is not how it's
this
done.
is what you're trying to... This is what you're trying to do, though. They're trying to make it so everybody fucking hand counts ballots. So if they're going to make it so every fucking ballot has to have fucking 3 people on it, now you're tripling the fucking amount of people that you need in order to count ballots.
He's just making an argument for the machines right now.
Really, that's all he's doing, but he's too fucking stupid to realize it, I guess. I don't know.
With what I saw yesterday. The other issue is that these 2 tables were far out of view. I could only see what I could see. They had an opportunity.
Well, I can only see what I can see.
So
there's a song about a bear going over the mountain to see
what he could see,
And all that he could see was the other side of the mountain.
because that's what's there.
What was happening. And that's how you have transparent elections, is when you take all that away. At 20 feet, I can only see a little bit.
I should be able to stand over your shoulder on a stool because it's Patrick,
Right.
and so I could read, and I need a Sharpie. I want to be able to draw angry faces when I see a vote I don't like. And I should be able to write down names and addresses and phone numbers so I can find out their name, their dog's name, all the stuff that Carlos needs.
A horde of people around the people counting the ballots wouldn't make them nervous and prone to error or anything.
That's not a distraction at all. You need to be able to count ballots in the dark, in the rain, driving 60 miles an hour up Highway 17.
You need to be able to smell what kind of conditioner they use.
That's right.
From the ROV, and keep in mind,
and with
ROV
guns.
and the assistant ROV was not in the room. I was the only elected official in the room at that time.
You probably shouldn't have been there anyway.
So that's what I saw yesterday morning from 9 to about 9:38. It's concerning, and to me, it casts a shadow on this recount. That's all I have, Chair. Thank you.
Supervisor Garman.
Thank you, Chairman Cry. Last week I attended the airport land use meeting as an audience member, and I will let Supervisor Cry kind of give the update with that. It was kind of interesting, to say the least, and confusing. I'm sure you'll elaborate further. I also met with Troy Bartolome, and we talked about...
Oh, if it's too confusing for you, Kevin Cry has no idea what happened there.
Main Street, they're going to be replacing some culverts out there that have worn out. That's going to start probably late April, early May. Troy, thank you for the work out there in French Gulch. And we also talked about the free trash day we're trying to get for Old Shasta, Keswick area. That's still in waiting. Waiting for final approval with that. And one last thing is, at our meeting next week, we should see an item coming forward about the possibility of a grant for a fire hydrant in Igo Ono, something I've been working on for a long time, and Troy's been very helpful with putting all those pieces together for
Do
that.
the people want the fire hydrant?
Or
do they think it makes it like a big city?
And that is actually all I've got in my board report today, other than I told you guys to give you a jail update each week. There's really nothing more than what CEO Rickard had mentioned. Until we get occupancy to the old courthouse, it kind of just is sitting there and waiting, unfortunately. But hopefully soon we'll get some action on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Garman. Okay, these are all in no particular order. I met with a small group in Palo Cedro about the appointments and that process, and I've encouraged all residents out there, or anybody that's contacted me, to first contact Supervisor Rickert and then also Supervisor Kellstrom just about that process. Because for me personally, leaning on those two, who District 3 is mostly Supervisor Rickert's district, some of Supervisor Kellstrom's, so I would defer to some of their knowledge about the individual people and quote unquote what side they're on, or if they're neutral, et cetera. Because I think if we're going to have the committee, we want it to try and be as supported board-wide as possible. So that's one thing. Another is I met yesterday with the new Ardent security staff. You'll see here we do not have sheriff deputies. This saves our county quite a bit of money by...
and the sheriff and the security, the fucking non-law enforcement security is more likely to just do whatever the chair says.
That's something I brought forward, and they are now here. They are armed. They are obviously very tactically capable. And again, what this does is this gives our sheriff's officers, or our sheriff's office, those deputies for the county, jail, whatever else is needed, and we can bring these individuals in. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you. The last meeting I brought up wanting to bring some stuff out of closed session. As most of you know, and you've heard me speak about, the wheels of government are slow. So hopefully this next meeting will be bringing something forward where we can start talking about that, giving more access to the public of what truly goes on in this building and around the county. The airport land use, you've heard Supervisor Jones, who sits on that board with me, and Supervisor Garman attended. This board, I was appointed to it last year when Supervisor Jones was chair, and it's a board that meets once a year. Now, our airport is one of, I think, the most underutilized assets we have, especially when it comes to tourism.
Yeah, that's funny. Last night during the post game for podcast listeners on Tuesday night, after we do the down ballot podcast, which I'm sure you all listen to, podcast listeners, we do public comment, and they were talking about planes and livestock. It's been a theme lately, actually, at some of these public comments. I wonder if we're going to get any aircraft versus livestock here from Shasta this week.
This board would only meet once a year perplexed me. So this year, when it came forward, we were looking to adopt what the next 20 years would look for, but we were using a study that was from 1984. Granted, I was 8 years old at the time. So I said, as a board member, I said, so you're
in 1984, I was 8.
Meets once a year to adopt a plan of 20 years in the future using data that's
4.
40 years old. I said, tell me how in the world that makes any sense. And so we started calling people up, and we're going to meet a second time, believe it or not. So we're going to double the amount of meetings, and we're going to meet in May because I asked the city of Reading and others to bring information back. Because in the private sector, you would never forecast your company 20 years in the future using 40-year-old data. I mean, it's ludicrous. And
that sucks for all those people that have to meet with Kevin Cry again.
Don't ask questions. It's just business as usual, rubber stamp, and we all just go about our way. So I would encourage you to come to the Airport Land Use Commission meeting in, is it May?
Yes.
I believe it's May. And not that there's going to be fireworks, but let's actually get something
that's July.
done, and that makes this airport better.
And you shouldn't shoot off fireworks at the airport in July.
Or anywhere in Shasta, actually.
I really want to touch on is,
Well, no, it's just dry.
Well, yeah, they do it at the convention center, which is now owned by Bethel. But
in the last 2 weeks, I'm not sure of the timing, but I've had an unreal amount of employees and different people coming forth with whistleblower reports. I want to thank.
Oh no, the whistleblowers! Oh, is this that fucking QAnon sort of thing?
Work that they've done.
Or is this different whistleblowers?
Really, this is,
it's different whistleblowers.
Look into wherever the employees see it, but if you're an employee and you want to bring something forth, you have to know that you're going to be supported, I would believe, by this entire board, and making sure that your concerns are heard. And then also,
my boss is
don't
woke.
Leave your name, things can't be investigated. But I appreciate the amount of employees that are coming forward on some items, and the day of reckoning is coming. So, all right, with that concludes my report.
It's always something's coming, something's coming, something's coming.
The storm is coming, yeah.
March 19th, 2024, as Women Veterans Appreciation Day in Shasta County. Mr. Tucker, our VSO, please come forward, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board of Supervisors. We appreciate it, and thank you very much for...
we've seen him before. He seems like a reasonable person. What's he doing here?
All of our honored guests could be here. I really do appreciate that, Chair. Before we get started, I would like to say we have two residents here from the home. One's name is Loretta. She is a United States Army veteran. And Lois, who's a United States Marine Corps veteran. In addition to our guest speaker, I'd also like to honor Veteran Services Representative Tori. She is a gunner's mate in the Navy and a weapons expert.
Bet she was against Patrick's gun range.
And Cece right here, she is she's been to Afghanistan, Iraq, and Kuwait. She was an Army truck driver and then served as a contractor in the Middle East. And she's an all-around tough. She's very tough. I won't say what I usually say because I'm in public open time. We're in open time, so. All right, thank you very much. I am honored to stand before you today on Shasta County Women's Veterans Appreciation Day to pay tribute to the courageous and dedicated women who have served the country with honor and distinction.
I wonder if Patrick thinks women should be in the military.
Of the armed forces for decades. Yet their contributions and their sacrifices have gone unrecognized.
But, I mean, he may be just for anything where somebody will buy additional guns. So, I mean, women should be able to buy guns.
Their service, sacrifice, and commitment to defending our freedoms. Women veterans have faced unique challenges and obstacles throughout their military careers. They've broken barriers, shattered stereotypes, and have paved the way for future generations of women to serve in the armed forces. These women have shown incredible resilience, strength, and determination in the face of adversity, and they have proven time and time again that they are just as capable and as brave as their male counterparts. From serving on the front lines in combat zones to providing critical support and services behind the scenes.
So people listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, just stay with us, all right? Just stay with us.
Women veterans,
we promise you this gets cooked.
Our nation.
This is building to something.
Our values. They have demonstrated unwavering dedication to duty, honor, and country, and their selfless service has helped to ensure the safety and security at home and abroad. As we gather here today to honor and celebrate women veterans of Shasta County, let us not forget the sacrifices that they made and the challenges they have overcome in service to our nation. Let us express our gratitude and appreciation for their bravery, their sacrifice, and their unwavering commitment to defending our freedoms. To all the women veterans and
I just am noticing something. Why is a man up there doing this? They could have found I mean, I know he's like the head of something, but you would think that he could be like, well, this is women's, but maybe I should defer to
attendance today. I want to say thank you. Thank you for
I mean, he seems like a nice enough guy, right? But
and your dedication.
we've seen him
to our
before, I
country.
think.
Your bravery and courage inspires us all, and we are forever grateful for your contributions to our nation's defense. In closing, let us remember and honor the women veterans of Shasta County and beyond, and let us pledge to always support and uplift them as their journey and service and sacrifice. Thank you for your service, thank you for your courage, and thank you for your unwavering commitment to defending our freedoms. Accepting this proclamation today is Molly Watson.
I think we also need an eagle with a shotgun.
Services Officer for California Vet, the Veterans Home in the Cal Vet Veterans Home here in Redding, California. Molly Watson was born in Portland, Oregon, and she was raised there until she was 13. She moved to Redding. She attended high school in Redding and was a member of the first graduating class of Foothill. She then attended Shasta College for a year before enlisting in the United States Air Force at 19 years old. She went to basic training at Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. Then after service tech, she reported to her first assignment at Kirtland Air Force Base in New Mexico. From there, she went overseas to Japan for almost 5 years before returning stateside to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and working inside the Air Force Station there, Cheyenne Mountain Air Force Station, what many know as NORAD. This was her shortest assignment due to her third son being born 3 months premature and needed to relocate to a lower evaluation for his health. Her final assignment was a service journeyman at Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield, California. She served on active duty for 11 and a half years and reached the rank of E6 Tech Sergeant. While on active duty, she earned 2 associate's degrees and her bachelor's degree in addition to her military awards. After service, her husband's final assignment in the Air Force led the family to Spangdahlem Air Force Base in Germany, where Molly completed her master's degree in psychology and worked with the Department of Defense dependent schools.
Maybe she should run for the Board of Supervisors. My God.
You think?
Listen to that. Like, she would beat any of them, right? She could just like be like, she could stand on that America record.
They returned to Redding in June 2023 or 2013.
I've been in some tense situations, but I am not prepared for being on the Shasta County Board of Supervisors.
No.
I've had some difficult jobs, but no, thank you.
The
most contentious fucking board.
In October 2013, Molly accepted the position as Veteran Service Officer with Cal Vet at the Redding Veterans Home. She has been there since the opening and has earned her USDVA and American Legion accreditations, which allow her to advocate for veterans and their benefit claims. She feels it's a true honor to give back and serve her military family after
she could have told us
active
this.
duty as a dependent. She didn't put this in here, but
she goes, that guy talked forever. I'm used to it. Thanks for the award.
Some of her accommodations because she is a veteran, so she left a lot of that out. She has 3 oak leaf clusters Air Force Achievement ribbons. She has an Air Force Accommodation Medal. She's a small arms expert marksman, and she graduated basic training with honors. So, ladies and gentlemen, Molly Watson.
Good morning to the board. Good morning to everyone here in attendance today. I want to thank the board and Wes, Amy, and the whole entire VSO office here in Shasta County for this wonderful opportunity. I'm so honored to be here today to celebrate this proclamation honoring women veterans in Shasta County. This recognition touches so many across our county who have served our great nation. Additionally, it touches those who know and support women veterans in their lives, to include mothers, grandmothers, sisters, aunts, cousins, and more. In fact, I would like to take a moment to ask any women veterans here with us today to raise your hand so we can recognize you.
Let him stand up. He seems great, though.
Thank you.
I want to see her get low when I get a DJ gig there.
Veteran in your life, friend, family member, mom, whoever. Can you raise your hand for me? Wow. So we all know somebody who has served, a woman that gave their time and service and sacrifice. And as you can see, there are many of us who know a woman who've served. This Women's History Month of March is a fitting time to honor the service and sacrifice women have made across all the military branches throughout history. While a freshman at Shasta College, a high school friend of mine came home to Reading to do recruiter's assistance after she completed Air Force basic training. She raved about how great her experience had been so far, and guess what? Shortly after, I was getting up, running into the recruiter's office and signing up and shipping out to Air Force basic military training in San Antonio in August of 95.
She's like, I had to get out of this place.
Basic training was what to be
anything to get out of here.
A lot of yelling,
maybe
marching,
I'll come back.
Being told to do this and that, and boy was it hot as you know what.
Come back and give me an award.
That was definitely an experience I will never forget. Interestingly, this very experience is what bonds veterans across the branches and eras. No matter our age today, we all went through a grueling experience that broke us down and built us back up into what we needed to be to fight, survive, and be part of the team. We learned to lead and follow and work together to accomplish the mission always. My experiences in the Air Force, like those of my fellow women veterans, are etched into my memories forever. I am so grateful for the opportunities I was given to learn, lead, teach, and triumph through adversity. I made lifelong friends that are family to me, and even met my wonderful husband, who's here with us today, who is also an Air Force veteran. Between us, we have over 35 years of service. So our 3 sons got the experience of growing up on military bases, being born and living overseas, and having parents who both have hearts for giving back.
So you guys have lived outside of Shasta County, so you know what the real world is like.
So I guess the tradition runs in our family. We are so lucky to have friends all over the world, and we have the Air Force to thank for
Her
that.
friends probably call her and go, do you know what I just read about your county?
11 and a half years.
Yeah, probably.
Going here
She's
and
like,
there,
"Can we talk about something
laughing, crying, learning a whole lot of acronyms, and moving. Boy, have we moved. Down the road, across the country, and overseas, twice. We have done it all, and I'm thankful for our forever home, as most military call it, at the end of service. As a military woman and mother, I will say I push myself to not only set an example for my airmen, but also for my kids by taking my education very seriously and constantly pursuing it while I served. I know many women who did the same and took their experiences and turned them into careers in and out of the military to support their families. I am ever grateful for the many chances I've had after service to utilize my skills and abilities that I've learned in the military. Today, I'm in my 10th year serving as the Veteran Service Officer with CalVet at the California Veterans Home of Reading. When I say it's truly an honor to serve, that this is what I mean.
She's kind of leaving a lot of money on the table there, huh, with that resume? Good for her, though.
Caring for elderly and disabled veterans, many of whom are living out the remainder of their lives within our amazing home. We even have a few non-veteran spouses that have been married to their veterans for decades following their service. I want to give a special thank you to the spouses, too, who support their veterans day in and day out. Many of you are here today. This is not an easy job, and I commend and thank anyone who is or has been in that role. In closing, I want to express my appreciation on behalf of women veterans across Shasta County for this wonderful way we are honoring their service. Throughout history, women have served in greater numbers, perhaps none higher than the present. According to the Department of Defense, in 2022, 17.5% of military members were women. And while the overall number of the armed forces population has decreased, the percentage of military women has increased slightly. That means you and I will likely come into contact with more women veterans in society who will bring important skills and abilities to our families, our workplaces, and our communities. We can all benefit from the values and service these military women bring to the table. Thank you for all who have served and to all for joining us today. May our troops always be protected wherever they may serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Rickert, could you please read the proclamation?
Proclamation, Shasta County Board of Supervisors, Women's Veterans Appreciation Day, March 19th, 2024. Whereas the women who have served in the United States Armed Forces have made significant contributions to the defense of our nation and the preservation of our freedoms, and whereas more than 35,000 women served in World War I, 350,000 in World War II, more than 1,000 in theater in the Korean War, and more than 7,500 in theater women served throughout the world during the Vietnam War, and another 41,000 in theater women were deployed during Operation Desert Storm, risking their lives to serve their country. And whereas the sacrifices and dedication of women veterans have often gone unrecognized and unappreciated. And whereas it is important to honor and celebrate the service of women's veterans and
She found a typo in the proclamation. That's great.
And whereas Shasta County
That's very, very merry.
a large population of women veterans who have bravely served our nation in times of peace and conflict, and whereas it is fitting and proper to set aside a day to honor and appreciate the women veterans of Shasta County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Shasta County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaims March 19th, 2024 as Women Veterans Appreciation Day in Shasta County. We encourage all residents to take this opportunity to recognize and show appreciation to the women veterans in our community for their service and sacrifice. We call upon all citizens, businesses, schools, and organizations to participate in activities and events that honor and celebrate the contributions of women veterans. Let us come together to express our gratitude and support for these brave women who have served our country and with honor and distinction. Signed, Chair Kevin Cry, dated March 19th, 2024. And here is the resolution.
Would you like to put that into a motion?
Oh, I'd like to make a motion
Second.
to pass this. Okay, great.
It's been first and second. We do have a couple people for public comment. So let's go ahead and bring up Jenny, you're first, and then Miguel Rodriguez, you'd be second.
As many of you, I do have friends who have served who are women. I'm kind of disappointed to not see at least one of them today. I hate to be a downer on such a beautiful thing, but I will open with a quote from Thomas Paine. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier, the sunshine patriot, will in this crisis shrink from service of their country, but he that stands now deserves love and thanks. The Sunshine Patriot is a person who can thank a veteran for their service in good times, but shrinks away when it costs them something. Thank you to everyone here who has served our country, who has sacrificed in all manner. But I do have something serious to ask. Where was this honor for Karen Ramstrong, who also was a woman veteran? Where was this honor when you treated her with such disdain when she served for this county? Where was the honor for the veterans
get 'em.
you lied to, Patrick Jones, when you when you lied to them and told them, you told them lies about the new Veterans Hall so that you could seek vengeance on the DA? Where was your honor when you stole from the Veterans Museum? You held a barbecue in their name and then embezzled the money. I hope this country honors their brave and honorable women.
Hell yeah, get them, Jenny.
For their sacrifices and their service, but I hope you sit out, Patrick. because you can only give what you have.
Miguel Rodriguez.
Damn. Stealing the money from a barbecue charity is low.
Chair Cry, members of the board, it's a lot easier to come up here as a community member. I thought it was an interesting coincidence that we are doing this today, and I want to come up here and read what was written about my sister, who is a veteran through the armed forces. So this is through the 2nd Dental Battalion. In honor of Women's History Month, we would like to recognize a bona fide trailblazer in military women's history. Of the 7% female military force who deployed in support of the Operation Desert Storm, there was one enlisted Army construction equipment repairman that would go on to become the leading force in military medicine, inspiring both men and women. That trailblazer is our own commanding officer, Captain Sherry A. Carveo. Born in Alabama and raised in Colombia, she started her dental career in 1998, graduating top of her class, magna cum laude, with a BS in dental hygiene, commissioned in the Navy under HPSP program in 2001, and ultimately earned her doctorate of dental surgery degree in 2004 with high honors. She went on to serve various units, deploying to Operation Iraqi Freedom, leading and inspiring thousands around the world. She is currently serving as our CO for the 2nd Dental Battalion and the last female commanding officer of the Naval Dental Center area. Her personal decorations include the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Meritorious Service Medal, Navy Commendation Medal, 2 awards, Army Commendation Medal, Navy Achievement Medal, Joint Meritorious Unit Award, National Defense Service Medal, 2 awards, Southwest Asia Service Medal, and Kuwait Liberation Medal. Captain Carveo is a member of the American Dental Association and American Association of Orthodontists, a fellow of the International College of Dentists. I want to thank you, honestly, for bringing this forward. She has fought in many wars to allow me to come up here, allow everybody to come up here, and have freedom of speech. Thank you.
Mo, coming up.
Oh, Mo is a mixed bag.
Thank you, ladies, for your service. Good morning, board. My name's Monique Willeen, and I wanted to come up here when I saw this on the agenda and say thank you. My best friend is Master Sergeant Robin Williams in the Air Force for 21
she knows Robin Williams.
years, I believe, recently retired. It is my pleasure every day that I get to tell her to her face, thank you for my freedoms, my First Amendment right to speak. Thank you for what
that must be annoying.
She is a veteran of a foreign war. She served in Operation Iraqi Freedom. She was there when they pulled Saddam Hussein out. When she talks about the stories and the things she went through, she also did, she was stationed in Guam, so I get to hear how she played ping pong and pool and all that amazing stuff. And I saw a quote, and I think of my best friend. I've known her for almost 30 years, and she's very near and dear to my heart. And this quote says, some people live an entire lifetime and wonder if they've ever made a difference. I'm going to add a positive difference, because of course we all make a difference. But a veteran doesn't have that problem. So I just want to say thank you to every lady who served. I know the first woman who was enlisted, her name was Loretta Walsh, 1917. It wasn't until 1949 that it became the norm to enlist women in the military. So I thank you for being strong, having moxie, and being the giants that we get to stand on your shoulders. So thank you sincerely for everything you've ever done for us, for this country. Again, thank you.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Look what I gave back just for.
That's Lori Bridgeford's theme song.
I too would like to acknowledge the women in the service, especially those that had been involved ages ago, decades ago. You were trailblazers. You had to endure a lot of bias, discrimination, sexual violence, rapes, etc. And you had to either cover it up, tell your friends, or it just went silent. So I know that has happened. We read the books, we read the articles and so forth. So I want to acknowledge that. You all take an oath for enemies foreign and domestic. So with regard to the comment earlier about Dr. Ramstrom, if you're going to get some scrutiny, it will be if you're committing what I've been calling, and so have other people, medical murder and geriatric genocide.
Oh, no.
So,
boo.
I can't stand behind the conduct and behavior of that health officer. Thank you.
Whoa, cooked.
Nothing to do with anything that was going on right there at all.
Well, is that on? It's on. It's on. Okay, here's the resolution. You want to come forward, receive it, and congratulations, and thank you for your service. It's a pleasure meeting you and an honor. And I can't thank all of you enough for your service to this country. We really don't spend enough time focusing on the contributions that women have made in this country and in this county, so this is an opportunity to do so. So thank you for being here today.
Hey, Mary, we'll come back to the picture.
Can we get some pictures with all of you?
All right, we'll go.
I think they do a picture every time. They act surprised every time. It's like the first time.
We'll go ahead and skip through the picture. This is a wonderful picture, I'm sure.
Good picture.
A bunch of people are leaving. They're like, I'm out of here. I'm out of this shit show.
Hurry up, get out.
We heard public comment for the proclamation. All those in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. Moving on to R3, receive a presentation from the Shasta County Film Commissioner regarding the 2023 Upstate California Film Commission Annual Report. Sabrina is with us, I believe.
There's a film commission?
She is.
Yes, there is a film commission for Shasta County.
Come on up.
And Chair, if you can, we're just going to take a few minutes to let the projector warm up, and then she'll present.
Great.
Oh, the projector's on again. Oh, not the overhead doesn't work.
It's the personal projector or whatever. It's not the public projector.
Okay. Welcome.
Good morning, board and everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. This is our annual update, so I'll be reporting on our 2023 activity. I thought it would be fun. Hopefully the video works. We did a sizzle reel of our released projects and reported projects for 2023. So it's short.
Way back to the early 60s, Lake Shasta seemed like the likely place to go. You know, the Rat Pack in Vegas, they were of us.
This is like was that Sean Fuck? It's like a Scientology commercial too.
It does.
Just wait until they see what happens.
Curious?
Okay. It's on.
No. No, it's off. Fuck Sean fucked.
We just thought it would be fun to put together a little compilation to show on screen, you know, a little bit of highlights from things that have filmed in our area. There's always new faces when I come in and speak, so just to remind everybody, the Film Commission is here to promote economic development by promoting our region to the film industry. We act as the primary liaison between our region and the film industry. So we're
so don't come for us. We're not wasting county money. Okay, just calm down.
Area from basically start to finish.
There's potholes to fix. Why are are we trying to make movies?
That we're contracted with our various people that we contract with to provide these services. We maintain affiliations with a variety of professional industry organizations. That gives us opportunity for leads. It gives us educational opportunities to make sure that we're staying current with what's happening in the industry. It also gives us credibility. People will go to those sites to make sure that somebody here kind of speaks the language for what the industry is looking for. They know that we're going to understand what their wants and needs are. So those are a variety. Those are the organizations that we're affiliated with, and they represent from statewide to international. We participate at industry events and meetings throughout the year. These are some of those that we did last year. So you have a magazine in front of you, the California on Locations Award Show. That event is in December. I actually chair that show. We have over 650 industry professionals. It's an invitation-only event. And that's our primary target audience. We actually acknowledge and award location managers that are choosing to film in the state of California. We've had several nominations make it to the final and writer strikes. And so we were able to kind of utilize the separation as an opportunity to expand because 9 counties in the North State don't have a film commission. So we have had conversations with other bordering counties. We're actually consulting with Siskiyou County, who just kind of relaunched their film commission. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Beautiful places to film up there.
So, do you find that most of the talent that come here for these films are members of SAG?
It depends on the projects. So when you get into,
They were originally going to call it the Film Actors Guild, but that was a problem.
projects, you are typically going to be having SAG members as part of it. So it does make a big difference. Like we could have one SAG project that
hack
totally outdo any year we've ever had in a few days. So
Well,
yeah,
that's
it
why I
just
was
depends.
curious because of the
Yeah.
strike. If that,
It did affect it because we had several projects that were on our list that had SAG attached to it, and so were not able to continue because they just weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then funding was becoming an issue with that.
Absolutely. And then, are you able to articulate at all what happened? And I know this isn't your project, but the Sundial Film Festival, why that isn't happening this year?
I haven't had a conversation with leadership. I just read their press release, so it sounded to me like they didn't get enough entries.
Was it basically just a lack of interest, that it wasn't a funding issue, or?
I don't believe the press release said anything about funding. I think they said they hadn't spent the funds. I mean, we had sponsored it, but they didn't cash our check. So I think maybe they were waiting to see if they were going to get enough.
So you got that back then? From anything that you put towards that, you'll get that back?
I'm assuming so. I haven't received the check back, but they hadn't cashed it. So I'm assuming that they were kind of waiting to see if they were going to be able to put on a show before they cashed everybody's checks.
Okay.
I don't know. I just only know my experience with it. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then I saw in there you working with the Reading Chamber of Commerce. Is the majority of the films, to your knowledge, take place in the city limits of Reading, or is it usually in greater Shasta County, like in the rural areas as well?
I would say that most productions will base in Reading, and then they kind of are filming all over. I could probably get a more defined, but I mean, they do film in Reading and elsewhere,
Because I would encourage you to reach out to.
I like her. She's like, these questions are dumb. Why are you asking me these questions?
Right. Like, people that are going to go film out in the middle of nowhere aren't going to camp out there with all their fucking equipment. They're going to stay in a hotel in Reading.
That's a big step in the wrong direction for film in Shasta County.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be able to
So,
come
yeah,
back.
so anything that this board can do to support you in your efforts, please just let us know.
Thank you.
'Cause it's a beautiful place to film.
It is a beautiful place. They love coming here. And they love our people because they're all very excited to be able to work right here at home and not have to fly wherever they normally go. So.
In my private industry, obviously, I represent a couple people in that industry, and they're shocked every time they come here that there's not more films.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't drop names.
Thank you, Supervisor Rickert.
Yes, thank you. And I just want to thank you for mentioning Tyler Fair's accomplishment. That's huge for Shasta County. He really put us on the map for that.
But for something else.
Resources. I live up in Fall River Valley, which is a little slice of heaven to be sure. And I know a lot of the nooks and crannies up there. You'd be amazed at what's up there that people don't see from the road. So if you ever need any access to any properties or anything, let me know, because that's a real special place. I also just wanted to share when Almost Heroes was filmed here. That was a while ago, but they used part of our property, and so I got to go out on the set, and I got to see the Matthew Perry and Chris Farley and Vanessa Williams. So it was a lot of fun. And
Mary will name drop.
River, and that's got to be a huge asset too. So
nice.
A lot of resources here for film production for sure. So anything I can do, let me know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Patrick's off. You want to use my guns?
Pacific Gas and Electric regarding efforts to underground electricity transmission lines throughout Shasta County and other local projects. This is sponsored by Supervisor Garman. Ayla Tucker, welcome.
Oh, it might start to get spicy here.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you,
PG&E.
board members, for inviting me to speak today to provide a presentation. My name is Ayla Tucker. I am the Government Affairs Representative for PG&E, and today I have with me my colleague, Mike Weaver, our Public Safety Specialist.
Why are you putting child tunnels down there with electric lines?
PG&E's undergrounding efforts specific to Shasta County, and then also I want to touch on the program.
Burying power lines is just an excuse to build more tunnels for mole children, Dave.
Program is related. Our 10,000
Shasta is like a high fire risk area. It's really smart to put as much of that shit underground as possible. And if that means building tunnels to the Getty, it means building tunnels to the Getty.
You have to compromise somewhere, right?
Right.
To distribution lines and not transmission lines. So just wanted to clarify that before I go forward with our presentation. To set a little bit of context, in 2021, PG&E announced the 10,000-mile undergrounding initiative. And since then, we have been making efforts to ramp up undergrounding in the highest risk areas.
But the numbers are really funny.
Provided a map here that we're all fairly familiar with. It's Shasta County, of course. And this is the
It needs to be a giant LOL.
Minus the lull in the middle.
To assist in our identification of the highest fire risk areas. It comes to no surprise to the community that we have a lot of high fire risk areas in Shasta County.
Like the whole county.
But something that I wanted to highlight to kind of set the tone is within, we have our 10,000-mile undergrounding program, but that is overall a part of our community wildfire safety program, which has a myriad of different programs to include enhanced power line safety settings, public safety power shutoffs, system hardening efforts, different efforts that we use. Right here, you can kind of see layers of protection. So as I said, using latest technologies on equipment like enhanced power line safety settings, using temporary outages when necessary, vegetation management, so keeping those trees and branches away from power lines, installing stronger power lines and poles, hardened equipment on our infrastructure, and then, of course, undergrounding those 10,000 miles of power lines in the highest fire risk areas. Specifically, this undergrounding program is not necessarily like other undergrounding efforts that we do. Sometimes when there's a new subdivision, depending on the requirements of that subdivision, maybe there's going to be undergrounding placed there. That's very different from our 10,000-mile initiative that is specific to reducing wildfire risk from our equipment. So I wanted to be mindful of the time that I have here today, Chairman. I know you had asked to keep the presentations to 8 minutes, so I'm going to do the best that I can. Before I really delve deep into the meat of my presentation, I wanted to highlight that at the end of this presentation, there is a myriad of customer resources. I did print those out. There's about 50 copies for the public. They're on the
here.
Well, also what's hysterical is that Reading proper doesn't even use PG&E. It's Reading Electric Utilities.
Oh, that's cool.
Aspect as well, because there was a few years ago a really bad wreck just a couple hundred yards from our house where somebody hit a pole, and so there's other safety that comes into this other than fire risk as well. So just thank you for all you guys are doing to help us become a safer fire community.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely aesthetically pleasing when you don't have those poles. I will say for community members that look around when we do an undergrounding project and still see poles and say, why the heck are those poles there? They're supposed to be removed. There are still communication lines, and if the communication lines did not join us in the trench when we undergrounded, those lines are still going to be on the poles. So in those situations, we cut off, the top where our infrastructure is, but the communication lines are still there. That's just kind of one of the nuances that not everybody realizes. They think, oh, well, all the poles will be gone. And yes, in some cases that's true, and in some cases there are still going to be communication lines in there. But you're absolutely right. There is a huge benefit to reliability. On the back end, there is cost savings associated with that.
So basically, she showed a slide, and it was I think the initiative started in 2021, and it's a 10,000-mile fucking high fire danger initiative or whatever, and they've gotten like 100 miles done.
Focused.
Well, it's hard work.
Thank you. I very appreciate it.
Yeah, but
They're actually currently
it's been like 3 years.
which has been I've talked to you before. Was
I mean, and arguably PG&E is one of the like more wealthy. I mean, he may not be as wealthy as Mr. American Telecoms and Communication.
It's a process for sure, and I would just encourage any board member, if they have any concerns, to please reach out to me so we can work with that project manager on that project and make sure that we get everything taken care of.
Thank you.
Supervisor Kellstrom.
Well, that kind of answered my question because, I fully support this project. I mean, 100%. I think what you guys are doing is great, reducing the fire risk, and a lot of it is in my district. But I do hear constantly on the roads, and I try to point them out. So I'll forward those to you unless there's somebody else I should do it to. But I try to point them out, like West Anderson Drive and Panorama Road. You guys put the trench down the middle. You patched it over, or the project manager patched it over. They weren't real great, but then you went back and patch it over again, smooth everything out, and everything's fine. So I hear almost daily Gas Point Road, and I keep trying to tell them, go out West Van Anderson Drive. They'll come back. They have to let the patch settle. The weather has to be right. They'll repave it. They'll smooth it out. And then I went to Shingletown on Sunday, so I heard Wilson Hill Road. So I went home Wilson Hill Road because, so I'll just reach out to you then.
And then if it's real hot, the road will just come off on your tires, and so you don't have to really worry about it. You take the road home with you.
Dig a trench. Unfortunately, we try to stay outside of the road if we can, but sometimes that's the area that makes the most sense. And so when we do that, we initially do a temporary patch, and that temporary patch isn't perfect. And then we do come back afterwards and make it a lot nicer, make it smoother. But definitely happy to connect with any customers that have concerns about that. We do, for each one of our undergrounding projects, we have a dedicated customer service rep where we do all of our outreach. She has a single point of contact. Customers can reach out to her, talk through those issues. Same thing, like let's say they think there's some sort of damage that their property incurred for whatever reason during the process. We can make sure they get in contact with our customer service rep. She's fantastic, and we'll make sure that everything gets taken care of.
Off the top of your head, I don't want to put you on the spot. I know you're not the project manager. You have any idea on Gas Point Road?
I don't.
Okay.
No, not off the top of my head, but I can.
I'll reach out to you.
Yes.
Thanks, Ayla.
Supervisor Rickert.
Yes, and first of all, I want to say this must be Tucker Day at the Board of Supervisors Chambers because your husband was here earlier, so it's good to see you in person, Ayla.
Yes.
So I have a couple questions. So in choosing the areas that are target, is it based on population? When I looked at the dots, I know of a lot of really high hazard areas for fires, but it looked like it was more in the more populated areas. Is that how, what do they base their criteria on?
I'm going to bring our public safety specialist up here to elaborate.
Yes, he gets to answer a question now. Thank you.
Hey, good morning. Again, my name is Mike Weaver. How we target locations to be hardened is a big toolbox, and that's using, Ayla mentioned some of that, advanced learning, AI technology. We use fire modeling programs such as TechnoSilva. Our meteorological team and our distribution operators team use information such as outage information, vegetation management information, how many trees are striking our line in a geographical area. But what I do specifically is, Ayla mentioned, I retired from a 33-year career with CAL FIRE. I'm the real world, boots on the ground fire guy that says,
boots on the ground.
I don't care what your fire model says, but we know what happens around Whiskeytown, French Gulch, Igo Ono. So
nothing is allowed to happen in Igo Ono.
Specialist team who spent our careers, incident commanders on some of these very complex wildland fires we have had. We evaluate and tell the utility where to look at based on fire history, the ability for the fire department to control a fire, obviously in areas not on the valley floor but higher in topography, 1,000 to 2,000 feet. You're getting into really rough topography, really thick vegetation, the critical assets and infrastructure that reside in these communities, water treatment plants, hydrant systems. We just really help steer to move the system hardening where our wildfires occur over and over and over. And that's obviously not on the valley floor where the fires are much easier to control. So population density, asset, number of assets we have. So that's really how it's
So it's a complex formula, really.
Oh, it is. It is. It's a lot of different tools.
So how many miles, I have you up there, how many miles have you completed in Shasta County?
Well, do you have that slide?
I missed that.
Is it 100?
It's back in the back. And
It's, I think, I want to say 74 since we've started this program, 47 planned for this year, and then 8, I want to say planned through 25 to 26, but let's see if I was honest there.
Okay, so here it is,
Yes,
here, 74.
I was.
Okay, I must have missed that. All right, and then one last question. I see a lot of new poles being switched out from old poles, and it looks like a different kind of material that you're using. What is that material? I've been curious.
Organite.
We call it an intumescent wrap. It's a fiberglass material that is enveloping the pole from top to bottom. And what that does is that just lets the pole survive radiant and convective heat as the fire front passes through.
Which is a smart move.
It's a very smart move because from a fire department perspective, we want to keep the poles standing so that we get the public's egress out in a time for evacuation, and then the fire department's ability to get ingress when the fire begins. Nothing worse. 2013, the Clover Fire, 180 wooden poles fell down. I was the first one on scene. I couldn't get my guys in, and I couldn't get the evacuees out. So that's another factor where we look at for undergrounding versus hardening overhead, is we really try to underground on those thoroughfares that is the one way in and one way out for the public.
Well, that's smart.
To access a fire and be successful.
Right. Well, thank you. Good.
I think they should fucking pressure any of the communication companies to underground that shit too while they're digging the trench.
Yeah,
that
serious.
I think that would probably require a functioning county government.
Well done.
And for different agencies to work together.
Thank you. Okay, good.
All right, we're going to move on to public comment period open time during the public.
Let's go. This is what it's for, everybody. This is what it's for. We're going to run the podcast a little long here, but we are going to cut it off in the middle of public comment. But don't worry, it'll be a freebie.
Period. The public may
I
address.
wonder what somebody listening on Spotify right now, like to this podcast, is thinking. They're like, "What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck are they doing? Like, you waited, and now your waiting reward is paying off."
On any matter not listed on the agenda that is within the subject.
Like over an hour of public comments is going to be.
Each speaker is out to speak.
They're mad.
Please remember,
they're mad about the
3
screen.
minutes, your mic will be muted to move it along. We will stay in open time until 11:15 when we will move to closed session open time. Again, look ahead if you can to R5 and R6. Please submit a speaker request card if you'd like to speak to items that will be hearing for closed session. That will be at 11:15 approximately. First speaker, Joe Dokes, followed by Dr. Laura Hobbs.
Oh, hell yeah.
By Lori Bridgeford.
Oh, fuck
Okay,
yeah.
I've heard these couple of ones. I got to get a better.
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Every official should be guided by legal, ethical, and moral behavior when officials act.
And for the people listening on the podcast, that is not, in fact, Jesse Ventura.
Outside these boundaries, they should be subject to the disinfectant of public scrutiny. When Shasta County supervisors threaten, demean, or expose identities of members of the public or county workers without their permission, they should be investigated and removed from office, for they no longer hold the public trust. When they violate county policies, the county personnel manual, or potentially the penal code, they should, if incontrovertible evidence is provided or they admit their acts, resign immediately. I will recite some direct quotes from the supervisor. The names of the citizen and county worker being threatened or harassed are redacted for privacy concerns, but otherwise the quotes are intact.
So his mask says something about being drug-free.
These text messages were made public, were transmitted electronically, and are subject to various codes and regulations sections. These comments espouse violence against a county employee and harassment of a county citizen and county volunteer. These comments are indelibly etched on social media. Both the county employee and citizen volunteer are putting in thousands of hours of effort to improve our community. I have personally listened to and valued their input into our political process. A supervisor comments are as follows, quote, "That guy is such a douchebag, I'd love nothing more than to beat his ass and take his lunch money," end quote.
We're talking about Ben.
Comment, quote, "Thanks, I'm throwing up. Not to mention I just voted to give that little piece of shit a raise." In yet another comment, name
we're talking about Ben.
And her giant ass were there.
Sounds like
Patrick, note referring to a county.
It was Kellstrom.
These comments are disgusting and violate the county personnel manual to wit.
And then he said some shitty shit about Susan or Suzanne.
Personal applicable section 7.2H, discourteous treatment of public employees or the public. 7.2N, conduct unbecoming, on or off duty. 22.2B, prohibited conduct. 22.23A, sexual harassment. While investigations have already started, we respectfully ask CAO Rickert to open an impartial third-party investigation into this hate speech to run concurrently with other investigations. This board and the CAO are tainted.
Then who's going to investigate all those investigators?
It is not protected speech.
Fuck yeah. Investigate the investigator.
Mind of this supervisor and how they feel about us.
This guy's going to run out of people to investigate and start investigating himself.
This supervisor is you, isn't it, Chris Kellstrom? These are your words, aren't they? You can try to deny them, but before you do and reply, I might suggest you exercise your constitutional rights not to further incriminate yourself.
Oh, shit. I don't like this guy, but he's spitting today.
Will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right.
Messages were sent between Chris Kellstrom and somebody whose name rhymes with YOLO.
Will be provided for you free of charge. You can exercise these rights at any time. Please resign, Chris. This isn't going away, and we won't allow it to be buried in county bureaucracy with a slap on the wrist. There is no room for violent, hateful speech in Shasta County.
You're cooked most of the time, Joe, with your fucking weapons grade marijuana, but you could be the fucking correct broken clock.
Bruce Russell.
Sorry about that.
Power move.
Okay, good morning, Board of Supervisors. Dr. Laura Hobbs, candidate for Supervisor District 2.
No, I'm not anymore.
Former.
Here speaking. I'd like to discuss with you the election data that we have to date for the March 5th election. Based on data from the ROV's office, early returns counted in drop 1 at 9:08 p.m. on election night.
Oh, shit. Is she going to unveil the Shasta pattern of fraud?
Submitted actually by more Republicans.
I hope she does so she can shut the fuck up about the Mesa pattern of fraud.
300 more Republican ballots than Democrat ballots for each of the 4 districts examined. This dispels the myth that more Democrats vote early than Republicans, and there's a huge difference between the candidates' percentage of the early vote versus the percentage on election day historically. So historically, there's a 0 to 7% difference between these two numbers. However, in this election, there was a difference of between 19 to 33% between the early vote and the election day tallies. This is not normal, and we must investigate
the Shasta pattern of fraud.
led to this difference. It's concerning and consistent with the Mesa pattern of fraud seen in the cast vote record data. We haven't had a chance to observe that yet, but prior to certifying this election, we must ensure that there's no computer manipulation. Now I'd like to talk about what I've seen as an election observer during the March election. The random 1% hand count was not selected at random in public view. During this count, observers were unable to hear the batch numbers, and they were unable to see the ballot marks. The people counting had their backs turned towards us, and they were blocking our view of the ballots. Currently, they are conducting a recount of the recall election, and I would like to know who requested this recount, and I hope that other
it's mandated
election that were similarly
it's within 100 votes.
would also be recounted.
Close enough.
The way they are conducting this recount is different than any other election.
Hugo Chavez, Shane.
It's quite concerning that they don't have an observer from each party. So if you wanted to have a fair recount, you would have two people, one from the yes on cry, one from the no on cry, and they would both come to a conclusion on the intent of the voter for every single ballot.
Honey, the yes on cry people are tired.
We have a pool.
You know how long that would take?
Elderly ladies that are conducting this recount. There's no one able to actually see the ballot markings except for these ladies, and we have no observers from either party. So this is not being conducted in a fair fashion, and the fashion that the citizens of Shasta County would like to see in order to have.
No, honey, it's the same fucking like a half a dozen people who want to go in there and fucking cook all over everything. It's just not how you do an election.
Was conducted in a transparent fashion. So
were the ballots made of bamboo? Were they Chinese?
To look at
I think they want them to be made of celluloid because they keep talking about transparency.
Up next,
I want to be able to physically. Oh no!
People on the podcast, I'm just not going to explain that joke to you. Fuck it.
Followed by Bruce Russell, followed by Alex Bilecki.
Oh, no.
Good morning, Board. Lori Birchford, and I'd like to welcome Ardent Security, Private Security. And,
she's like, I recognize those who serve. Get the fuck out of here. I'd like to welcome the security guards. Fuck out of here.
That's what Patrick Jones said earlier. Being the only supervisor or person at the meeting yesterday to observe is absolutely just stultifying. I'm shocked. And I agree with Dr. Hobbs that there's
Dr. Hobbs.
Dr. Hobbs.
going on, and it just adds up to the lack of trust. I volunteer at Shasta County Citizen Journalist, and at the last chamber meeting I was here was November 27th. It was the day that was a very long day. It had about a 3-hour break. The night before, I was here with the Election Advisory Committee meeting, so my topic is covering conduct, room conduct, whatever you're calling it, code of conduct.
Uh-huh.
So I was informed coming back at the Board of Supervisor meeting on the 27th that your employee, Donnie, admitted ripping up and tearing up my property. So I do have a bill for you. It's a summary. He's not here. I think if he was, he'd probably tear it up like he did my property. So it's itemized, and I'll be giving that to you, Donnie. Also, I would like to reiterate, I don't know if everybody realizes that I've been harassed by him since the lockdown, of the COVID lockdowns. And he slandered and said I hit people with poster signs at Sprouts. His attorney.
Did she? I think there's video of that.
Yeah, there's video of that.
And made a 4-hour cyberbullying. I have it. I can mass produce it.
Even she put his 4-hour video from Twitch on a USB drive, and she has it in a sandwich baggie with notes on it, Dave.
You know what? I just wish that we got to the point with her that she was putting like your broadcast on a thumb drive and handing it out to the soups.
That would be hilarious.
It's an evidence baggie.
Two of them already watch it, so
Again,
it's okay.
Stop emailing me. I have a poster up front where I had to delete and redact the F-bombs. Made a police report. You supervisors got my email number 13, correct? Including CEO Rickert and attorney counsel, I believe. So
we'll have to FOIA that one later.
And, she's the lady behind. The lady behind Lori is the one that I think we coined the phrase mean ma instead of me ma.
Mean ma, that's Bev Gray.
Yeah.
He is upset and calling, basically if you're breathing, you erase this, but there's a younger black man, 24 years old, that took Mr. Pinckney to task and started giving him what he does to all of us, that he targets and harasses, which is maybe, 75 or 80 of us. And it's been going on for years. It's not funny and it's not satire. He's still employed by you, Donnie, so I don't know what his precise duties and tasks are, but this is getting annoying. And, what if I just say, hey, it's funny? It's comical. It's not.
It is. Most of
No, it's
most of
pretty
most-
funny, Lori.
Especially the stuff about
Leon, 24-year-old black guy who pointed you out in at least 3 videos. So I have 30 seconds. I want to point out that narcissism is pervasive in the political realm. Just look at the 2 people running for the national level.
She's complaining about Nathan, yes.
Omnipotent, that they're the best or the favorite or funny, they're grandiose, they're special, nothing applies to them, self-righteous, dominate, disturb, control, massive sense of entitlement. The rules don't apply to them. So thank you for listening, and Donnie, here's your bill for $50.50, which is low. I'm not charging my full rate for postage board and everything.
Up next, Bruce
For
Russell,
ripping up our poster.
followed by Alex Bilecki, followed by Dwayne Brovan.
Oh, Alex Bilecki's next.
Good morning, Board. First of all, I must say I'm 100% for hand counting of paper ballots, and we need to get rid of the hackable voting equipment and proprietary software. I find it quite interesting.
I would love to just be able to ask this guy, what does proprietary mean? Because that's something we know about and we choose to be different on.
A hand recount of all the Kevin Cry recall votes. The assistant ROV advised me that similar manual recounts have been done in the past, including the Modi recall. In performing a manual tally of the recall vote, the assistant ROV is relying on Section 15360 of the Elections Code that discusses the required 1% manual vote tally. Part B, Roman numeral 2 of Section 15360 says,
Roman numeral 2.
The election official may, at the election official's discretion, select additional batches for the manual tally, which may include vote by mail and provisional ballots. The assistant ROV indicates she chose to recount the recall vote, the Cry recall vote, since it is so very close. The District 2 race is also very close in determining whether it will be a November runoff election. The assistant ROV indicates she has not yet made a decision on a recount of the District 2 race. I hope the supervisors and other citizens will lobby the ROV, as I did, to perform a hand recount of the District 2 race. The District 2 race results so far are somewhat puzzling to me, in that Donald Trump so far has 60.2% of all presidential candidate votes in Shasta County, and the 2 Trump-supporting Republican District 2 candidates, Laura Hobbs and Dan Sloan, currently have 37.46% of the District 2 votes.
Because they're shitty candidates.
Would be much closer to the 60%.
Trump is like the only candidate.
Since Alan Long, a registered independent, has not, to my knowledge, indicated if he is a Trump or MAGA supporter.
Who cares?
The assistant ROV indicates the code.
If he is, he would let you know.
Would allow her the authority to perform a full manual recount of the local elections when doing the 1% required manual tally. The only stipulation is that an election must be certified within 30 days after the election date. Hopefully the supervisors, the individual the supervisors select to replace our retiring ROV Allen would agree to perform a manual tally of all future local elections as allowed by election codes of Section 15360. And we need to do that until we can get rid of the machines. Unfortunately, dirty voter rolls greatly increase the likelihood we will be counting illegal or fraudulent ballots. Dr. Frank and others have determined that voter rolls in California counties are not clean. Shasta County
Dr. Frank?
To obtain sole control of any additions and deletions to our voter roll.
Thank you. Alex Bilecki.
Nobody wants to save the American penis.
Dwayne, followed by Nick Gardner.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Please don't hurl a slur out.
I'm going to change it up a little bit. It's county orientated.
He's like, I'm going to do a slam poetry.
Our schools
That's exactly what's going on.
are being infested with lies.
What? About the Civil War?
Let's go to the basics. February, Black History Month. How many decades do we have to do this? Why can't
what the fuck?
Put it in the book and let it go?
That's probably all they do for Black History
They
Month.
deserve just as
Read a
much.
book.
I guess acknowledgement in history as we do, or I do.
Put it in the book and then ban it.
You'll be acknowledged in the history of Shasta for sure, sir.
Black History Month gives us self-delusion that you're better or you're not so good or whatever. It's a placebo. And it does affect our children that talk, walk, and play with others.
What?
So I'm asking for the cancellation of such said thing. But before it gets canceled, I would like the books to be changed a little bit.
Uh-oh.
There's only a couple of pages.
When was the last time you think this guy read a book?
Well, maybe more than a few. And as for the rest of the things and racial things, I'm sure our country needs to do a little better. But now we have a problem at the border. And
the Shasta border?
You guys can help. Number one,
No, they can't.
our media let's just say in the North State, has been putting their panache, there's whatever you want to call it.
Thank you for not referring to like some term in like Yiddish or something, because I'm like sure this guy thinks the Jews run the media, right? Like,
for people coming across the border and dying. I'm sorry for that. But
are you killing them?
I'm thinking of the Americans that you get to eat. It doesn't matter the color. Or does it? Because it seems that in our country, things are changing. I just want you guys all to vote and be fair-minded. And above all else, try to treat everybody equally if you can. If you can't, then there's a criminal problem in...
stealthy Fed agent from chat about to disappear this guy. Alex,
Wayne, followed by Nick, followed by Jenny.
Good morning, board, chair Cry, and board members.
Somebody needs to be like a former board member.
Rickert kind of took my question. Okay, the question was how we were coming on the code of conduct. I thought that it would be something that would come up today.
No. You know what they're doing though? They're doing a smart thing. They're holding out until they have like a 3-2 majority, right? To try to like get the code of conduct through. I think that's what's happening. They put it. They're like, oh shit, Patrick lost. Let's push this back.
Yep.
Said that
Kevin Cry's like not. Kevin Cry was in on it. He's like, you want to not do something? I'm your guy. I don't care what you want to not do. I'm your guy.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Action. And so I was assuming it was going to come up. I believe that a code of conduct for everyone, including the supervisors, is something very important and shouldn't be put aside. And thank you for working on it, Mr. Cox. Thank you.
You only thank the fucking temporary lawyer.
Sorry, Nick Gardner. Then Jenny.
I don't know if they call him the temporary lawyer, but history would dictate that that's their temporary lawyer.
Nick Gardner going to come up here and practice his 3-minute comedy routine.
Dolores Lucero.
Hello.
Let's see. Last Tuesday morning, I was working behind Dairy Queen, and one of our unsheltered people walked in. I'm nice to all of them. And I said,
how much did you have to pay them?
Not too well. I said, well, what's wrong? He says, I got robbed. He says, I got robbed of my last $20. That's the second time I've been robbed. And I said, well, geez, that's terrible. I says,
what are you doing hanging out behind this Dairy Queen? It's apparently a dangerous neighborhood.
I says, well, what brought you, why'd you come to Reading? He says, I was looking for work. I said, where'd you come from? He says, I came from Los Angeles, and before that, I came from Washington. And I said, well, you know what I'd do if I were you? I'd get the heck out of Reading. And he says,
he'd probably trying to. He's like, get out of here, drifter.
Trying to, but I don't have a way. I said, did you try the Goodwill Rescue Mission? Yes, I don't qualify for their at-home program.
He's like, have you ever heard of a hobo? Just hop the train.
Send them home program.
Yeah, dude.
So I contacted Jonathan Anderson and asked him to explain that program to me. And he emailed me back that when they send somebody back, and he made it a point, they've sent 500 people back, that there has to be somebody waiting for them, because we don't want to be accused of dumping our homeless on other communities. Well, this guy isn't our homeless. He's been here 2 months. And as far as I'm concerned, we could give him a ticket anywhere.
We don't take kindly to strangers around in these parts.
Nope.
Oh, and I'd be good with that. So I would like you to, Patrick and Kevin, I believe, are on the ad hoc committee that talks with the other cities. See if you couldn't put together some kind of a fund for people like that.
I thought he was going to say just send them to fucking Nevada City or something.
They're not here. As far as I'm concerned, anybody that didn't go to high school here in Reading is not a local citizen.
Whoa, fuck you.
That might be a little extreme, but I got my point across.
You're crazy.
The point is, these people are coming here and they're not our homeless. That's my point. And I've talked to about 6 of them. I don't ask every homeless I say good morning to where they're from, because some of them you just really don't want to approach. You don't know what kind of a reply you're going to get. But 3 out of the last 5 that I've asked, they came here for Bethel. And Mark Mazzano at City Council meeting talked to a guy where he feeds down on Saturday at Martin Luther King Park from a kid that came from Minnesota. Mark asked him how he got here. Well, he came for Bethel. He's homeless and on the streets. Maybe we could put some kind of an ordinance together for these organizations that bring them to our community to be responsible for sending them back where they came from.
I don't think you can do that.
Maybe like an unaccredited spiritual degree college is fucking stupid.
I mean, at least he was pointed in the right way that time. Like at Bethel. But
yeah. Everybody hates Bethel.
Kevin, after the time I've spent with you at Friday meetings, I can see why you won the recall. You are available, you reach out, and you help people at the meetings. I've seen you help countless people, and I don't think I've ever seen you stand up here and be like, these are all the people I helped this week. You just help them. There's a reason you won, and Patrick Jones lost. There was no fraud. There was no cheating. There was nothing to whine about. Patrick lost fairly because he used his 4 years in office to divide the county, to serve his own desires, to line his pockets. The people have spoken, and overwhelmingly, they don't want Patrick Jones. They don't want his self-serving or divisive nature. So, Kevin, continue to serve our community. Put your heart into helping the underserved people. Don't follow Patrick. The people have spoken. They don't like him. They don't want his lies. They don't want his gun range. You won because you reach out, because you're a servant, and you help people. Please work with your coworkers. Please work with Mary, with Tim. Show honor and certify the vote when it comes. I know that you have flaws, but I know you want to serve, and that matters more. I have faith in you. Please don't let us down. Don't let the county down.
Oh, if the thought you should know people are going to run an op on Kevin, that's pretty smart. Like, try to fucking play to his ego and tell him he in the race that Patrick lost, he was barely able to eke it out because he's like better than Patrick Jones. Oh yeah, this is a really good fucking, this is a great strategy going forward. Like, don't always heap praise on him, but remind him that he won and Patrick Jones lost, because he may be somewhat loyal to Patrick, but he's mostly loyal to his own fucking ego. So
yeah, Kevin desperately wants to be the fucking cool kid, right? He wants to be the jock from high school forever. So the more people he has fucking puffing smoke up his ego, the better. For him, I mean, not for everybody.
If that can then be turned into nudges in the right direction, because he's like you said, he just wants people. He desperately wants to be liked. So
yeah,
if that can,
nudged. I mean, Tim got nudged in the right direction eventually after he was he probably saw some shit behind the scenes and was like, "Whoa." No.
Right. Or maybe Tim got in there and just noticed that Mary had her shit together and was like, well, if I want to do this right, I'm going to it'd be wise to, if not always follow her lead, keep a close eye on what she's doing and ask her questions if I don't understand her decision, because I may end up on her side anyway.
Yeah.
Dolores, followed by Frank, followed by Matt Dial.
Fuck yeah, it's Dolores.
Dolo!
Oh, she's up there to gloat because Patrick lost. This is going to be fantastic.
I was wondering, when are you going to fix this? You took our freedom of speech there by showing documents. You're also now trying to dictate, and you're becoming Hitler. Yeah, you give, but you're becoming Hitler because you like to give so you could able to take it away, just like you're taking our freedom of religion, and freedom of expression, everything. You're trying to take everything from us. In October 19, 2021, Kevin Cry announced he was running for Shasta County Board of Supervisor. Kevin Cry is a liar and a cheater. He didn't even live in District 1. He used a fake address. Kevin Cry has committed multiple felonies and prohibit laws of conflict of interest, making contracts with multiple government entities.
That's funny in chat. When they go low, we go dolo.
Also has committed multiple felonies, including hate crime against citizens, sending them threatening emails for not supporting their cartel friends. And now he is crying that he received threatening emails, but it's okay for Patrick Jones to threaten citizens, but not supporting their cartel friends. You're crying now because you're saying, "Oh, I'm getting threatened emails." But what about when you threaten others? It's okay for you to do it, or for your friends, your cartel friends, to do that to citizens. You're committing multiple crimes because you hold a high position. You're using your position. It's called color of law abuse. You are going to go to prison. Kevin Cry and Chris, you both attended a Cottonwood meeting. Over 200 people attended that meeting. Both of you witnessed Donnie Chamber get assaulted by Mark Kent and didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing because you hate that woman so much that you allow Mark Kent to commit a crime against a citizen. How dare you guys do this and think
Fuck yeah, Dolores. She started off a little weird, but she's spitting.
Mr. Kevin Cry, I'm going to let you know something. You succeed the recall, I'll tell you what, one guarantee, you will go to prison for all the contracts that you made with the schools, because those are conflict of interest or prohibit laws. You can laugh all you want, but you will end up in the same cell as Patrick Jones. Guarantee you, you will. That's no doubt about it. And I'm telling you, because I've been giving all the information to the FBI, and that's a guarantee, regardless if you lose or win. But you
Stealthy Fed agent in chat must be her contact.
We will succeed, that you will go to prison. And I'm telling you right now, you could laugh all you want, but I'm telling you, mark my words, you will go to prison.
All right, moving on. We have Frank.
All right, moving on.
Matt Dial.
Banuelos.
Okay, Banuelos, yes.
I live in 6575 Leopard Drive, and this is more or less for Patrick Jones.
Is this going to be the R5?
This is going to be on the gun range.
Okay, so that'll be R5 in that'll be in about 20 minutes.
I don't know. You guys call my name.
Well, yeah, you signed up for open time, but you will be speaking to R5. So you'll be the first speaker of R5, Mr.
Why don't I just finish it?
Pardon me?
I'm already here. Why don't I just finish it?
I'd love to do that, but that's not the protocol.
That's not protocol.
I know.
I'd love to do that, but I make the rules, and I say you can't do that.
Protocol here.
Okay, so thank you. Appreciate that.
Not a lot of protocol here. That's right.
I couldn't see because my mic was in the way. Did he flip him off?
Okay, so
No.
I wish he would have.
Matt Dial, are you for R5 as well?
About the range.
Okay, so you'll be second behind Frank for R5.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Curtis. I just have a first name, Curtis.
I'm going to give out my government name.
Stephanie, if you can, just make sure we double check if any more cards come in. They're not for R5 or 6.
Dude, those guys don't know what they're doing when they fill out those cards. Blame it on Steph. Don't blame it on anybody.
Rick H.
Rusty Shackelford.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Tim. For the other three idiots. Kevin.
Oh, I like him. New character? This is a new character?
New character, and him's spicy.
Got a little bit of that Dom DeLuise energy to him a little bit.
Love him. You're an idiot. Calling people that have a fat ass, threatening a county employee as you sit up there smugly falling asleep. Kevin Cry, you have been
smugly falling asleep
while you were in high school. You got two girls you have been accused of being inappropriate with. You can't even coach basketball, girls basketball at Shasta County, and you sit up there pious. And you, Mr. Jones, all we have to say is bye-bye, lying asshole.
Oh, shit. Get him.
God.
Get him, old queen. Get him. My God. Get him, old queen.
That was amazing.
It's our democracy. People can say what they want to say. Rick, come on up. Monique is after that.
Right before I'm up here.
Tough act to follow.
Thank you, Lord, for giving me the courage to come up here and speak. And I want to thank all you board members for doing what you do up here. Let's see here. Thank you, Kevin Cry, for bringing on Ardent Security.
Wait, why?
Very much appreciated.
Why does anybody care?
Can we please get the projector fixed? I have had numerous times I'd like to put things on this projector. There's so much stuff that needs to be contradicted from what's said up here, and we'd like to be able to show proof against some of that, and it would be very helpful to have the projector back. Thank you. I
have these movies on my phone I've just been itching to play for you guys.
Bigger man than me. After the last few elections, I can't go down there anymore. That lack of transparency, they do that for a reason. Yeah, I mean,
probably because you threatened people at the ROV, probably.
Secrets. And there's a
I'm
lot
almost certain of it.
Stuff. You can't see the tables. That's for a reason. You can't also go behind the locked door where the sorting machine is. The sorting machine's kept behind a locked door, and that's all sorted.
They don't let you in the broom closet at the McDonald's either, friend.
It's there that's very well organized to going in. And so my view on what we're counting has already been sorted. We've already sorted it. Why are we recounting an election that hasn't even been called? That's a big question I have. But I can answer that because Joe Biden said it's the count that matters.
What?
In this case, it's the recount that matters because we're just going to count it until we get it right. That's what we do. You count it until.
How else are you going to find 11,560 votes?
Here. I can't go down there.
Stop the recount. Stop. Wait, they want to stop the hand count. This guy wants to stop the hand count. Wait, why does he want to stop the hand count? This
Stop
is
it all.
This is amazing. They want a hand count. It sounds to me like the recall is going to be the recall will be recounted by hand. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're doing it now.
Yeah. So now that's
It's in
bad.
process.
No, it's bad.
That's bad.
Our own county's election process because it's disgusting to me.
All right.
I'm disgusted.
Well,
And all you have to
you're
do
not
is
allowed near the building. You should be fine. Everybody wins.
Wake. I'm surprised more people are not disgusted by this. My thing is, I think they must obviously be asleep. Thank you.
Monique, followed by Bev, and I have no other cards at this time. So if you'd like to submit a card, please do so. There's the yellow ones in the back. There should be music, Mo, as people come up.
Good morning, Board. Hello, fellow constituents. My name is Monique Willeen. I've been coming in up until this year every single Tuesday since September 19th, 2017. And all I've ever wanted to do was to try and make a positive change for individuals who are unsheltered, underserved, and under-resourced. And I come in today, and my mind is like scrambled eggs. Oh, I'm blown away.
What?
I remember when I was running for city council.
Your mind has been like scrambled eggs the whole time.
With Mr. Modi, And he told me it would be bad, I don't even know the word to use, to tell people that I was running for something. What I'm trying to say is a couple weeks ago, Dr. Hobbs comes up here and accuses Mary of being a Satanist because you had 666 on your license plate.
Cool as fuck.
My mother has paranoid schizophrenia.
I thought she was going to say my mother has 666
666 on her license plate.
I was so hoping for that.
That is something my mother, who is mentally broken, that is something she would have saw, and she would have taken it to that level. There is something wrong with people speaking in here today. That gentleman came up here and called you an idiot.
I liked him.
Go back and watch me speak. I try with everything in me not to call people names. I try to hit policy, not the people. Mr. Garman, thank you for doing what you're doing for Igo Ono with the fire hydrants. When you brought up the PG&E issue, yeah, I'm upset that $7 million went to a thing that a bunch of elite people sit on a board for. But at the heart of it, you are hitting the issue, which is protecting the people. So I say thank you. I'm blown away at how you come in here and pick a fight with somebody every single time. What I'm trying to do is help people that are underserved, undersheltered, and under-resourced. Can we please fix the problem with the jail? Can we please stop fighting and calling people names? Somebody came into my work the other day, and I'm talking because I'm loquacious, and she says to me, I know that voice. You must be, because I have the name tag Mo. She says, are you Monique Willeen? And I said, yeah. And she goes, I know you. You speak at the boards. And I want to tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
And then everyone in the shop clapped. Everyone in the hipster coffee shop clapped.
Damn it if I didn't feel proud. But today I come in here and I feel like frickin' scrambled eggs. This is ridiculous, the way people are talking to one another. I can't.
Did you just get here? I thought you said you've been here since 2017.
Dude, she's been gone for a while. Like, there's a couple notable faces that have been gone for a while. Mo, this is the first time she's been up in a while. Like, that creepy fucking Robert Sid has been gone for a while.
And we hadn't seen Lori in a bit.
Yeah, Brenda's been gone for a bit.
Hey, Monique, it was good to see you today. You haven't been here in a while. Thank you for coming in.
Bev, followed by Larry Sargent, followed by Jim Burnett.
Okay. Last week during the 1% count, Laura and I were both there. You couldn't see the ballots at all. The people that were putting them in the boxes and counting.
What does she think like being able to observe this means? Like, these people think being able to observe this, you get to count the votes too? Is that what she thinks it means?
Yes. That's it. When there was no counting going on, Laura whispered, what was the batch number? To Janae. Janae said, there is no talking. We have to have complete silence, no talking. And she did not repeat the batch number. You know, to be able to lick the ballots. As opposed to just saying 67. Okay, it would have been so much easier. But anyways, I personally never said a word. I did sigh a little bit, okay? And at one point, and I was told, there is no talking, the whole spiel again, okay? I hate to think what would have happened if I would have sneezed or coughed. Okay.
They take you out of the back and just shot you.
Environment, which does not restore trust in our elections. Thank you.
Thank you. That was weird. Nobody cares. Well,
Larry Sargent, followed by Jim Burnett.
Like, they won and they lost, and they can't be happy about either one.
So, if you'd like to turn
They're mad about both.
Please do so, or just get in line.
Good morning, board, and thanks for hearing me out. It's obvious that my comments are just going to be a continuation of an issue that we know is not going to go away, and that is election fraud. So we also know that the bulk of this started with the presidential election of 2020. The insinuation by former President Trump that if the election goes my way, it will probably be the most fair election in all of history. But if it doesn't go my way, it's fraud. And it was rigged. And you guys have brought it down to our level. Now, and it even went so far as to have an insurrection against our own government. And thank God those criminals, not hostages, are where they need to be right now. So you did away with the Dominion voting machines and you want to go to a paper ballot. What I hear is anecdote after anecdote, analysis after analysis. Mike Lindell is just around the corner going to dump a whole bunch of evidence and we're all going to see the light. Everybody.
This guy's extremely online. I like him.
I've seen this and I've seen that and I have concerns. You even said you had concerns this morning. If you have a concern, please turn that concern into evidence that can go to a court and be adjudicated. Right now, you have nothing. Nobody comes up here with anything from a court, from a judge, from a panel of judges, or from a jury that says there was election fraud of the kind that would sway an election. Now, one thing I want to comment on, it was made earlier. I can tell you why Trump didn't get the same amount of votes, because some Republicans who have seen the light aren't going to vote for Trump, but they'll vote down ballot for other Republicans. Same thing happened in 2020. Now, do I think that the board is going to stop with this election fraud thing? No, not until the makeup changes, and thank God it's changing. Maybe then we can come to some common sense. You're going to keep doing what the former president, wannabe Führer, wants you to do.
Damn.
Jim Burnett.
Spitting hot fire.
That will be the last speaker request card I have at this time. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Board. The last speaker notwithstanding, there has been plenty of evidence in this room and all across the nation of election fraud.
No, this is incorrect.
You might, and I know that a lot of people will dispute that there is fraud, but the evidence is there, and so it just hasn't seen the light of day in very many courts.
It isn't.
Oh, this is the I have a girlfriend, but you can't meet her. She goes to another school of election fraud evidence.
She lives in Canada.
In getting to the elections, there's really no meaningful observation of the ROV's processes, especially right now during the critical hand count that is auditing Supervisor Crye's recall election and the 1% audit, which is another hand count. But if you don't have meaningful observation, it's just going through the motions. Meaningful
I think everybody should count every ballot.
To go into the same room and
just get everybody in the entire city in a line and we'll just hand the ballots down.
Do it like a gift exchange. Just exchange ballots and count your ballot friends.
Supervisor Jones related, and it doesn't mean that you get to just.
I'm learning from the chat. This is all like live stream.
Well, watch these monitors, and you'll know what's happening. That's not meaningful. And really, that election, that type of observation violates state law. So, unless they do an about face on that, I don't think these elections should be certified on that basis.
Wait, so they were saying they couldn't see what was going on, but then if they looked at a monitor, they could see cameras that showed maybe a better angle. These people are idiots.
So don't certify it.
These people are idiots.
Also, it doesn't matter whether or not the Board of Supervisors certifies the election. Kathy can just certify it.
Why it may not be certified or shouldn't be. I'm sure they'll certify it, but they probably shouldn't. And then finally, I'd like to relate my own experience or observing the balloting last week. They were still counting ballots in batches of 100, and specifically the process is they get 100 ballots in a batch and they run them through high-speed scanners, which counts and tallies the votes. And what I was doing was monitoring a couple of monitors that had the results. I didn't see the people, I didn't see any of the physical activity, but I saw the data
With Baal's ballots, the most trusted name in
I counted
Baal.
38 batches of 100 ballots being, scanned rapidly.
That's what the machine does, yes.
Half of the time, they had to rescan those 100 ballots. So in other words, there was some kind of error that the scanners flagged. They didn't say what the error was, but they just ran those things.
So the system is working.
And out of 38,
the system is catching its own internal errors and saying, "Oh, put those in."
Not sufficiently correct.
Like sometimes you got to put your fucking debit card in the chip machine twice. It doesn't mean the chip machine doesn't work. Doesn't mean they're stealing the money out of your bank account.
To have to be scanned again. So there's a lot there about technology that isn't near perfected, and
a system that corrects for its own errors is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Teresa, followed by Ashley.
There's
Was it
quite
you?
a few monkeys in this circus. So I just read on the Shasta Scout that Joanna had said that the observers were very close. I mean, it was really busy in there, and they were very close. I don't think 20 feet is very close at all.
Well, great. The
That's
board of
not very
supervisors.
far.
The board of supervisors should send the sheriff's department to invade the Shasta
Regardless of
Scout.
whether or not there's election fraud, are you afraid of transparency? Are they afraid of transparency? Do they not know how to count correctly? Why is there not one of each there? For or against? Why? What's the issue with it? The heart machines are glitchy. They couldn't even update the time after the time change. They had to shut down 2 out of the 4 of the machines. On the following day,
imagine that proving they're not connected to the internet.
3 of the 4 machines because the date on the other machine that was working the day before was incorrect. It was off by 1 whole day. So yes, machines are imperfect. But you get 2 or 3 people looking at a ballot, guess what? Y'all gonna hold each other accountable.
Okay.
Unless you don't know how to count.
Bye.
Or are hiding something.
Hiding. They're all hiding something.
Ashley, come on forward.
Hi, Board. Thanks for letting me speak for a minute. I just wanted to pigtail on what Monique said. I haven't seen Monique in a while either, and she is always a positive role model up here. And every time I come in, I feel the same way. I think it's unfortunately we haven't concluded the code of conduct, but unfortunately I feel like the code of conduct needs to be applied to those of us in the audience. Personal items don't belong up here. I don't care if it's your personal items or my personal items.
Damn, she's the manager.
Honestly, a person of
That's the
integrity
manager that
would
Karen
never
wanted to
betray
speak to.
confidence, even after the dissolution of a relationship. So I think as private citizens, you should be allowed some sort of privacy.
Nope.
I feel free
Nope.
being up there
That's
because
all.
you guys
All this stuff would be Brown Act violations, and possibly violations of the First Amendment.
get that opportunity. I feel like people come in here, they want a circus, they make it a circus. Like another gentleman said, there aren't any charges, so I don't believe there were charges brought against anyone with Donnie's incident. There was an incident with Dolores, no charges. And there, Kevin, you're getting hammered up here too, and there's been no charges formally against you either. And yet all the hate and drama is spewed up here, and it does need to be about policy in this boardroom for us to move forward. We have a new election, we're going to have new leadership. I congratulate them, but I think what everyone out here has to take into account is if Shasta County wants to move forward, we have to together. And the political polarization is getting us nowhere all day long. It's not working. It does need to be objective, policy driven, and in the best interest of the public. Even with the voting, I still agree, prove them wrong, and it's over.
But how do you prove a conspiracy theorist wrong? Like, you can't. We tried for years.
Right. We were like, bring evidence. And they're like, well, do your own research.
Right. Like, how do you're just like, well, fuck it. We're not going to fucking bother talking to these people anymore.
The absence of evidence proves fraud.
And Patrick, again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but you really have done a lot for the community.
No,
did a lot for us when we needed strong leadership. And I truly
What, he fucking
that the person that
made a
fills her shoes-
20-something foot outdoor laptop so people could go to the board meeting and sit and do
That
a
was
board
weird.
meeting while the rest of everybody was online. Remember that?
Yeah, that was weird.
or anyone else who comes on the board, when we have tough times like COVID again, I hope that those people can come through and be true leadership, exhibit true leadership, because we need that on this board. The state of California is going downhill fast. I'm all over in different states. There isn't a lot of places that have a lot of respect for us, and it's because of the degradation of our rights and financial issues in Shasta County. I'm proud that we haven't sat back and just taken it. So I appreciate all of you.
Well, you guys missed out on millions of dollars by not doing that.
That's why we're here.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in public comment open time? Seeing none, we will move to closed session.
Fantastic. This would be a good time for us to break this off, and so we can put out a podcast that's less than fucking 4 hours long or whatever. I guess I'll close out the Intellectual Dollar Tree. That was a very special episode of the Intellectual Dollar Tree, wasn't it? You can check
Yes, it was.
you can check out Monday and Tuesday morning. The Media Wench does Shasta County coverage. It's 9 a.m. Pacific. And as far as the Intellectual Dollar Tree, follow our YouTube. That's youtube.com/@Echoplex Media. I don't know why they put the @ there. It's annoying. And give us money. echoplexmedia.com/support. You can, I don't know. I guess find us on Twitch. Always find us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Echoplex I'm going to change the color of the lighting in my studio, change the contents of my drink, and we'll be back in a minute or 5-ish with red light.